There we go.
Welcome. So we're here today. I'm so excited. I'm so glad that you are here with me, Dr. Swansea, because today is a special day. And I'll let you do introductions. Well, do whatever you want to do. But I just want to welcome everybody to hear about the launch of Blessons for Living, the series.
Oh my goodness, what an exciting event this is. I mean, the guests that we have here, I'm just looking forward to hearing from each one. There's, of course, our author and publisher, Elena Neely, and then we also have Terry Didham, the illustrator. Did I pronounce the last name correctly?
You absolutely did.
Okay, fantastic. And then we also have Anissa Barton Thompson with us as well. And just what an exciting time it is. And then, of course, we have Amaya Neely with us as well. So just looking forward to hearing from each one this evening. Elena, where do you want to start?
Well, it's a wonderful place to be. I can tell you, we're on the other side of where we started, but I think you did a sermon the other day at BCC that talked about dreaming, and this has been a dream in my heart. It was something about the word blessings, and it became real to me when I say I've got to explore it, I've got to figure it out, I've got to start somewhere. And I started and made connections. It was Anissa that made the connection between Terry and I, the illustrator who completely brought my dream to life. And now the series is complete. I believe we started writing in 2019, and here we are in 2022 with 3 books.
That's amazing. 3 books in that period of time. It just, what's it like for you to finally be at the end of this series and ready for the next step? What's it like?
Well, the fact is, I know now that I'm not in charge of anything related to this project because God has given me the blessings all the way through what to do here, what to do next, what words to say for each blessing, which blessings to be in it. And as you know, we go from planting seeds of greatness, and those are in the first book. And that is the one that talks about the basics, the power of the mind, thinking time, being able to just focus on being your best, loving yourself, very foundational concepts. Then we move to the best of being. And that means that when you think of all the things you want to be a friend, be grateful, be yourself. One of my favorites is be courageous, be brave, And so those are things that I think are important. But as we lift now to the 3rd book, which is out now, this one is always remember and never forget. And those are concepts like forgiveness is free, right? The power of one, chances make champions. You were here for a purpose. And finally, one of them is be a blessing. That's what this whole series has been about, sharing those lessons that you learned so that someone else would have that information earlier in life so that they don't have to go as hard. And we have to get this information into our babies as early as we can.
Yes. And I love the way each book is just chock full of so much rich information. Blessing combined with lesson is a blessing to be shared. There's a lot of information there, just rich jewels. How did you choose each one of the things that you included in these books, especially book 3? How did you choose which things would be included?
Well, I have to tell you, I one thing I must say is every time I wrote, I knew I was writing to a child. I knew I was writing to some child that really needs some information. And so you think about, what is it that a child really needs to know? Because I knew whatever I talked about, Terry would somehow figure a way to bring it to life. And I am just so excited to be able to have worked with him, because if you could see the rich color in every book, and then some of the other illustrations are just amazing. And so I'm saying that to say, when you talk about being a friend, that's one of the lessons in life. What is a friend? You know, everybody kind of knows. And so we write in a way a child would understand what it means to be a friend. The forgiveness is free, but why do we have to forgive? Those are things like that. And so in the final book, the concepts got older, because I'm assuming that children are going to grow in their thought pattern and be able to keep up, because children learn more and faster than we believe they can. If they can learn a language at 1 or 2, you know they can pick up other concepts. And with digital distractions, social media, and all these things that are grasping their minds and we should be getting those foundational values into them. Like, when you get older, you learn the value of thinking time. But nobody talks to a child, but they do time out. But it's a bad thing because we're out of time out. But it's really not a bad thing. And so the books really go into really talking about these concepts very easily. And, you know, what do you think, Terry?
Well, you want to get to me right now?
I just wanted to know. I just said,
I'm curious too, Terry.
I mean, when you talk about when you were writing drawing the pictures for the different blessings, like, what were you thinking about some of the concepts?
Well, definitely. Well, first off, I want to say, whenever I receive the information, I always place myself. It's like I want to place myself in this in this movie, to where I could visually create what it is that you wrote. And it was just so vivid. Like, I mean, everything was so clear to me, what you created. First of all, I want to say, when you're talking about creating all of this for our babies, I'll say that there's a child in every adult as well. So it really spoke to me. Yeah, it really spoke to me. So when a lot of times when I'm doing children's books, a lot of times there'll be an author that would say, what age range should I place on this book? And a lot of times I say, don't put one, because you're speaking to a lot of adults that haven't dealt with a lot of issues that they haven't resolved from when they were a child.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But you really spoke to me with every title that's here. There's so much negativity that's in the world today. And in each book, there's just so much positivity that just bleeds through these books. I love that you have a rainbow as well on every book, which represents God's promise. You know, so
Amen.
that's so powerful to me.
Amen.
Amen. You did that. I told you I wanted it and you did it. But every page is colorful. I know that it's not, should maybe not show so well, but if I could just read like this one is in the last book, and it's called Cherish the Day. And it says, when you wake up each day, take a moment to say, I'm glad to be here to see another day. Every day that you awake is a special gift to you to live your best life and do what you love to do. Time to learn, time to grow, time to begin again, time to go. Every day is beautiful. Every day is new. Every day is another chance to show forth the love inside of you. Treasure the day. And that's in the third book.
I love it. I love it. And I love what Terry was saying about there being a child in each of us, even as adults.
Adults, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so I can just imagine as adults are reading these books or reading with children,
Yeah.
as they go through these books. It also serves as a reminder, to adults, very basic things that we learned as children and the things that should be continuing on in our lives even today,
Yeah.
as adults. So I really appreciate that observation, Terry. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if I might share. Oh, go ahead, Terry.
Oh no, I was just going to touch back on you. You had mentioned social media and where things are today. I love the fact that she mentioned parents getting back to reading to their children, and I think we're so distracted with the things that's happening in this world today, with the economy, with COVID hitting, all of those different things. We are forgetting to spend the time with our children and just get back to reading. And I'm just been very excited just having this relationship with you and just watching the books come.
Thank you.
Come together. It's been incredible for me. And there's some projects that I've done where I'm like, it just feels like work, but this definitely was fun. It was very fun putting it together. And I see God in every book that you created. It was definitely a God thing for me.
Amen. Thank you. And I was only going to add that was kind of where I got some of the ideas, because when Amaya was younger, I would read to her quite a bit. In fact, we enjoyed reading, and there was a gap. I didn't see any books like the ones I was able to write. I was always looking for what kind of books I could instill true values and things that she would need in the world. And those were not only filling that gap, but also I enjoyed reading with her, and we read together. First I read to her, but then we began to read together. And then I went back to reading to her. But we did it till she was 17.
Wow.
Nice.
From the time she was born till 17. And look at her now. She's in strategy for a big crypto firm.
Wow.
That's so dope.
That is fantastic. Elena, I know that this project was fueled by your faith. Can you talk a little bit about how that worked for you, how your faith really fueled this dream coming to fruition?
Yeah, there's a special person who has helped me out this whole time, and it's a coach. Sometimes people say, get a coach. You need a coach, a life coach, this and that. Well, the fact is, I never did. But I knew I was not doing this thing, that there was something in my heart. Well, it just so happened at our church, there was a young lady, I call her young lady, Pastor Ann, who opened her own coaching business called Amazing You. And I said to her, listen, I need your help. And I was just moving at the time. And I said, when I get where I'm going, I'm going to call you. And sure enough, that was back in 2018. We met, we started talking. And next thing you know, we are now 3 years into it. And we've only, maybe missed one meeting out of that whole 3 years. But every 2 weeks we touch base. She holds me accountable to everything that we discuss. And even now I have a to-do list for when I meet with her again. So having said that, she was the beginning. And then during that conversation and having a life coach that's also a pastor, she can relate to me talking about this. I know God gave me this. And so one day she just said, well, God gave it to you. If he brought you to it, he'll get you to it. And from that moment on, I said, I'm going to trust God for everything. So when I needed, an illustrator, I'm going to trust God. When I needed a publisher, who was able to talk to me about a potential publisher? My pastor, Pastor Swansea. And so my first book was through a guy who was a bishop at one point. And so all of a sudden everything started lining up. Terry Dittum, even though he's an illustrator, is a praise and worship director
Wow.
at his
Yeah.
church. Anissa
Yeah.
Thompson runs all the honor at her church. So it is. And I walk with that until this day. I don't worry about a single thing related to the book because I know every blessing that came out of it came through my mind, it was inspired. I know that every person that has touched the project is definitely, so he's given me ways to know. And I'm just going to trust him because he blessed me with the opportunity to be the one to bring it to the world. And I'm just grateful for that because when I share it with children, and I will tell you the interviews that I'm going to do on YouTube, they're going to be with children and to talk about this because he gave me that idea. And so I wait on him. I wait till I'm very sure about the next move and look at where he's brought us. Look at where he's brought us.
Yeah, yeah. And I know, I have no doubt that he's going to bless so many people, children and adults alike, through this project. It's just an amazing thing. And I have to tell you, Elena, it's been a blessing to me to watch this process as it's gone from an idea to materializing and coming to fruition. I remember seeing book 1 and was so excited about that. And then after a while, there was book 2. And now the completion of the series, book 3. I mean, absolutely amazing. I was asking earlier about how you chose which blessings to include in each book, because one of the things that's so beautiful to me, as a pastor, one of the things that's so beautiful to me is that each one of those blessings are biblically sound. I mean, those are principles, those are biblical principles,
I agree.
that you're teaching and planting those seeds, that God will cultivate and really activate in the lives of these children as they move forward in their lives. So what a blessing it is and is going to be on many levels as you continue on. I have no doubt that you will bless countless people through what God is doing through you and through this project.
Amen. And as we speak, I just want you to know that I am working with a very special church on a curriculum that they're trying out that I have built, that it was so easy to take a blessing and find where the Lord speaks to that in his book. I mean, from either one of them, forgiveness, just look at the fact of forgiveness, being brave, all of them, loving yourself, being a friend. God has something to say about every one of them. And I had nothing to do with it, but it was an exact match. It was like 3 to 4 scriptures for every one of the blessings. And so we were able to build a real life curriculum and workbook that could be easily take the books, put them with the workbook, and you building foundation into children early on in life, right when they're getting, and it's almost like a sneak attack because, you're reading a book, but you're getting that connection in there of what the Lord is telling you to do anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so it's awesome. It's just beautiful to watch, but we're going to be direct about it and say, hey, this is something you can actually use in school. This is something that you can actually teach children and you can put it a real life application to it. So that's something that's coming next for us. And today, as you know, we launched our YouTube channel.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
This is our first live broadcast.
The first of many more to come.
I love it. Elena,
Yeah.
I'm just going through the pages again. I mean, I have to remind myself of, what you created and just the biblical principles that's in this book is just really something how you put everything together is so much needed. I mean, it's really when you think about like social media, when we were talking about social media, can you believe that bullying is what's hot, what's trendy?
Yeah.
And that just,
Yeah.
it just hurts my, I just feel so sad about that. But this book, I mean, this book just needs to be across the world. We need to get this out to these babies for real in these schools.
Amen.
So,
So
I know
we'll wait
definitely
and see, right? We'll wait and
yeah,
see what God's going to do next. But the fact that you and I met, and we met in a restaurant, remember?
yeah.
And we were just talking about the concepts. And now, and I said, don't go anywhere for because I need you for all 3 books.
Hey, she
And
worked.
I didn't.
Okay, so here's the truth. She worked me like a workhorse.
Tell us, Terry.
No, I will be honest. No, it was so much fun, and she was so easy. She was very patient. She knew what she wanted, though. If there was something that didn't work, like I will. This is funny. I did one picture where on the page there was a lot of orange, and she said, "I don't like orange." She said it reminds me of Halloween, and I'm saying to myself, it's a color. But she's like, I don't like orange. But
Yes.
I understood why. And when I changed it, I'm like, I get it. So made the change. There was no problem. And then it was just a couple of other things, maybe with the cover, where I had to make some changes just based on what I thought was cool. But she knew what she wanted. So it was important to me that I gave her that. And once she had it, she was like, that's it. I'm good. Let's go. So it's beautiful. Every book is beautiful.
I have so many favorites. I have so many favorites that he's done. If you can see these beautiful favorites, one with the heart. I always make the heart, and one you can't really tell, but the guy is talking to his daughter. He's reading her a book, and it's about being curious. It's about being curious, and you could see images of like a plane and a computer, because those were things that weren't there before, right? And so that's where it said the world is full of wonder, like a natural waterfall. Some mountains are massive, some trees stand amazingly tall. What about a computer? It hasn't always been around. Until someone was curious, technology was nowhere to be found. Curiosity starts with questions: who, what, when, where, and why. That's how inventions come to be, like the plane that lets us fly. So it's getting children thinking about things, and then the beautiful illustrations take them in. So every library should have Blessons for Living series, because it's foundational. It's something like, people when they get pregnant, what to expect when expecting. They need to have Blessons for Living in those boxes, because at the baby showers and everything, because these are the things we need to get into their hearts very early. And it was what was missing when a girl named Amaya was coming along.
I love it. Can I mention one more thing that I noticed, and this is after the books were done. I did not plan this, and Elena didn't say anything, so I guess it worked out fine. But if you notice on each book, if you look at the characters, usually when you have a book series, you have the same looking character. Yeah. On each book, if you really take a look, the characters are growing up. On the last book, they look like they're growing up. And age, so I just wanted to bring that up. I was looking at it, and one of my friends actually brought that to my attention as well, is that they went from these little babies to where it was like they were growing on every book.
I love it. And that's why I never had to say anything to Terry, because he knew, he just did his thing, and it was just ordained. It was just ordained. That's all I can say. it was meant to be. And then the evolution of being able to say, oh my God, there's a connection. It wasn't planned, but it evolved, and it will continue to evolve and continue to evolve. And so I'm just excited about what God has planned. And then one of the exciting things I need to say, is that I became a publisher myself during this process.
Yay, nice.
Yes.
Because COVID happened and it became really tough for us to do things and make connections. And I just said, you know what? I have more time. Let me go ahead and do the work of being a publisher. And then since that time, I have actually published 3 additional books. One for a gentleman who had this vision of a divine date with destiny, who really talks to us about making sure we're ready for that moment in time and don't wait. And so that was perfect for Blessings for Living. And then I wrote my baby's book about a girl named Amaya, because she's very inspirational, because she was faced with so many things in her life. And she had to reach inside herself and find her strength to come away from that, up to and including the loss of her father, me moving her on the other side of town, the country, because of work. So each time I was very concerned about her. And, as an African-American girl growing up in America, it's not easy. So she was faced with different things. And so, but each time, I watched her do it. I watched her literally reach inside herself, find her strength, and keep going. And I'm so proud of her. And so I wrote a book about it, because I know other girls, other young ladies have things. And the kids face things early in life.
Oh, yeah.
It's earlier and earlier. And so we can read to them, we can spend that time with them, and we can share with them what somebody else has already gone through, and let it be a blessing to them.
Nice.
That is wonderful. That is wonderful. I think
Thanks,
Amaya
Mom.
is with us, right? Bring about her thoughts about the book.
Maya, would you like to say something?
I'm super grateful to have been highlighted by my mom in this series. And I think it's super thoughtful and admirable of her to make light of the story and the things that I've been through. So thanks, Mom. I appreciate it.
Nice.
I love it. I love
And
it.
she's working so hard. That's why she couldn't be on camera. She's at an event. But you saw her picture already. It looks just like her. So thank you so much, Amaya, for being here and being an inspiration for me and letting me read to you all of those days. I know you were tired of me, but I'm sure we had a good time doing it.
Elena, do you mind if I ask a couple of quick questions from the fan side?
Oh.
So I have had the joy and the pleasure of being able to be with both of you on the book tours and being able to see the reactions of the little ones and their parents, seeing these joyous characters, these beautiful children and parents and families depicted in the books. Over the time since you published the first book, have either of you, Elena or Terry, heard stories back from those families that give you even further inspiration or further ideas? Go ahead.
You want to go first, Terry?
Oh, I can. It's so funny that, well, I won't say it's so funny, but it's really crazy that you're asking that question, because I was thinking that I wanted to say something to Elena just in regards to the response of parents. I have a lot of, I love the fact that we ended up doing it for young boys and young girls. And it turns out, just based on the response from the parents, that there's so many books that are for young girls, but there's not enough books for young boys to,
Exactly.
yeah. And these books, for every parent that ended up purchasing these books from me, or ordering it from your site, their response was always, "Thank you, I needed this."
Right.
So yeah, so in regards to just the messages that's here for boys, I just want to let you know that it's a very strong message that both male and female parents have come to me and have given me like a great response just to say thank you. Like, I needed this for my child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will tell you that I've had a lot of people take pictures of the book and send them to me. I mean, they, for some reason, they just
Right.
take pictures of their kid interacting with the book or reading the book to them. And one of the things that I love, though, is it's one of a friend of yours, Terry, and she has a grandson she read it to. But in the book, every book, there's a jingle, a couple of jingles. And one of them is, a blessing is a lesson shared. It's a blessing to share, a blessing to care. Always remember and never forget that blessings flow to help you grow. Oh, what a blessing it is. And she actually sung that and
That's
sent
funny.
it to me.
I love it. I love
She
it.
sung the jingle in her own beautiful voice and how she read it to her son. And she sent it to me. And it was just so sweet and so nice. And so little things mean a lot. But I can tell you the parents are the ones who come at me the most. The kids love it because it's so
Yeah.
beautiful and colorful.
Yeah.
But it's
Oh,
the
yeah.
parents who come back and say, "Oh my God, I love this. She loves this." It's because they're cool. The kids are interacting with the books
Yeah.
because of the color automatically. And then the sneak attack of the words, meaning that we gotta share this stuff.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're gonna interview kids so that we can let them tell us why this is important or how they felt when they read it, because that is where the rubber meets the road, is helping them.
So along those lines, so you're getting some inspiration. Now we want to know about, are there Easter eggs in any of the books? Are there little pieces? Because we know this is a passion project for both of you.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Are there things that you have incorporated in that is maybe a part of your own internal story above and beyond growing up with Amaya and reading? Are there little pieces in the artwork that it's like, oh, Terry put a little bit of his family history, or
Wow.
or
That's a very-
Elena put a little bit of a story that Terry illustrated? Are there any little Easter eggs like that in any of them?
Oh, that's what the Easter egg is.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a really good question.
I
right?
will
It's
tell
a
you
great
one
question.
thing I remember. It was in Being Your Best. And Terry did this one, and this one is about being your best, right? But you can't see it, so you got to get the book. But my name is written on the award.
That's awesome.
So that's kind of fun. But and then there's one other in the book 3 that just came out. There is a lesson called Chances Make Champions. And it was inspired by my cousin, Jonathan Brentley, who is actually noted that it was him. He says it all the time. And I actually interviewed him, and he will be featured in one of my upcoming YouTube videos to really understand what he means by that. But because of him, I came out of it with passion. Passion is something that has to meet opportunity, and then you become a champion. So I took it as Chances Make Champions. And so when I interviewed him, he really spoke more to the fact that he creates his own chances, because when rubber meets the road in life, you have to create your own chances. And that's what makes you a champion. And so, but that was a personal thing to me that I brought to the book. because of what is real life in my life.
So I have another question. I love that. You just spoke
I
about.
didn't answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go right
I
ahead.
can answer your
Did
question.
you
Yeah.
find anything, Terry?
We want to know. We want to know.
Oh my goodness. No, really no. There's no Easter egg for me. I will say this though. I love to make sure that I'm following the instructions. I want to make sure that I give my client exactly what they want. But I will say with every picture is definitely an extension of who I am in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, now see, he made me forget my last question.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I remember. So Elena was just speaking about someone who was inspired and told about how he draws out of himself. You are reaching to these beautiful young minds and spirits. How do you encourage them, or what advice would you give them to follow the dream that they have? Elena, you made your dream come true of publishing. Terry, you make your dreams come true in creating your artwork every day. How do you encourage them to pursue their passion projects or their creativity or whatever it is that God has gifted them with?
I love that question.
Well, can I go? Because I found it,
No,
Terry.
go, please.
That is actually one of the blessings, dreams come true. And I'll just, if Terry, you have it there or no?
What's that?
Dreams
Show it
come
again.
true. Yeah. So
I
if you,
don't.
okay, I'll go ahead and read it. It's got pictures of a lot of different occupations. And one day, a chocolate woman that's a vice president, right? So dreams do come true. And a dream is a wish, a hope, a desire, a look into the future, one that you inspire. Some dreams happen when you sleep. The best dreams happen when you're wide awake. Dreams of what you will do, dreams of chances you will take. I dreamed of writing books for children just like you. I dreamed my books would be fun and colorful. You are reading my dream come true.
Oh, wow.
What do you dream?
Wow.
What is in your heart to do? You must believe it is possible. You must know that your dreams can come true.
Amen.
Oh, I love it.
Amen.
Amen. That's
You couldn't
nice.
have asked a more direct question.
I
So nice.
love it.
So there's 30 blessings in the total series. And I'm just really excited, not only in just every family being able to have books like this in their library, but also for churches and other organizations that just want to have some content that they can bring to children and community engagement situations, and they want something positive and something that will help the children. These are life lessons, some of life's most important lessons, written in a form that youth will really understand. And so again, I think it's crucial time in America that we can't leave the minds, our young minds free to just anybody who wants to put something in it. We need to put something in it, and we need to put some of these strong things that are happening in life and lessons that we've learned in a way that they will take it and learn from it.
Nice.
I love it. I love it. You know, you spoke a few minutes ago, Elena, about interviewing children, that you're going to be interviewing children. Can you say a few more words about that?
Oh my God, I will tell you, I happen to be at this time of this interview, president of Jack and Jill of America, Alexandria Mount Vernon chapter. And I have access to so many beautiful children, and they are looking for information. And they also share information themselves. And so they love to have a dialogue. And if you just talk to them, they can tell you what they learn, what they think about things, and what's important, because what we really want to do is make sure that they can speak to what it is, because they may be getting something out of this that we don't even realize.
Exactly.
And I want to make sure it's getting home and hitting home, because we could always revise a chapter, but the goal is to make sure that they have a voice in this. So I want them to come back and tell me, what did they think about when we talked about chances made champions?
Love it.
What did that mean to them? How did that inspire them? What did that make them think? Did it make them feel stronger? You know, when we said, love yourself, be yourself, you know? And so I think it's crucial that those are some of the foundational questions. So I'm going to open it up to families that want to have their child participate, but I have a few in mind that I want to definitely talk to. But I think it's going to be more than what we believe it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come out to be, oh my God, when it's all done and said, I think they're going to have something to tell us that they got out of it that we didn't even know.
Yeah. I love that, Elena. I think one of the biggest issues with us is that as adults, when we have children, we push our own dreams and passions on our kids.
Right.
Yeah.
Versus allowing them to think for themselves after we just give them the tools. And like you said, taking the time to read with our children and helping them understand what they're reading. And then as they grow up to a place where they can communicate properly, then we allow them to grow up and be leaders and stop pushing our own passions and dreams on them.
Yeah.
We need to say, we do it a lot, do it too much. Yeah, so it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love that.
Love it. I love it.
But another inspiration that the Lord gave me, because I was like, what am I going to do with this YouTube channel? I mean, of course I could talk to parents, but what is it that, and so I wait for the answer, and the answer always comes.
Awesome.
It always comes. So I'm looking forward to the future. The next book that I'm going to publish under our Blessons For Living series is another book about a special needs child. It's written by Tambra Renee White. She is a special ed teacher, and she was inspired by a young boy who really wants to do well, but he has special needs, and people always put them in a little bit of a box. So she has a really nice, colorful book that she has created, and that's going to be coming out soon. And I'm blessed to be a publisher for that too. So that's lots incredible to come, but right now the day is for the Blessons For Living series, and it's complete. And I want to thank everybody that's been a part of the project. Everybody, like Amaya wrote the foreword for my first book. Chris Jones, who also wrote 10 stupid things teens do to mess up their options. He's always been a lover of children and youth. And so he forwarded that book. And the last book that is coming out right now is written by a gentleman by the name of Dr. Nate Brooks. And I met Nate Brooks when I was like 21 years old. He was in charge of Dale Carnegie, and he gave me the first feeling of I can do whatever I want to do if I want to do it. And so all these years later, this is a man who speaks internationally around the world. He wrote the foreword for this book because he knows the importance of the work.
That's wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Dr. Swansea.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
Yes, thank you for having me on as well, Elena.
And Anissa, we always appreciate you because you're the person who got us here and always make sure we can help tell a story. And thanks to my baby girl, who is always my inspiration.
Awesome.
We have to throw up a heart.
Oh, yeah, the one in the book. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and say good night.
Good
Bye.
night,